And welcome to this edition of the Deputy Podcast, the official podcast of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office SC. I'm Sergeant Alan Sayer with Community Services and Outreach here at the Oconee County Sheriff's Office, sitting in for Jimmy Watt today as he is on temporary assignment. Today we've got a really special episode for you on our school resource officers and SRO program. One of the things that we're very proud of here at the Sheriff's Office is our SRO program and all the different things that they do to help keep our kids safe in the schools, not only just as security, but also as educators, teachers, mentors, role models, and everything else. So our special guest today is Staff Sergeant Keith Brooks. He's the supervisor of the School Resource Officer Unit. Keith, welcome to the Deputy Podcast.
Thank you, Alan. As you said, I'm Staff Sergeant Keith Brooks. Tell you a little bit about myself. You know, I've been an SRO. This is my 21st year as an SRO.
21 years.
I'm in my 21st year now, so 20 of them have been completed. So I'm in my 21st year.
Congratulations, Keith. That's quite a milestone right there.
And it's been worked the road, of course, with Walhalla City. Because just to answer one of the questions, yes, I've split my time with Walhalla City and the county. Of all the years that I've done this, but I just transferred right over to Walhalla High School. But to tell you a little bit about myself, you know, I am married. I got children. Been married for 38 years in January, actually.
Awesome.
There again, you know, and I worked in a factory for years and years and years, and I came into this job in around 32 years of age, I believe it was.
Oh, wow. So
31.
you started late.
So I started late into this, and not getting no younger.
Anyway, well, I don't think any of us are we?
But, you know, and actually one of the things there is, you know, I have worked for two agencies, Walhalla City, and then when they built the new Walhalla High School, I transferred over to the Sheriff's Office and been with the Sheriff's Office in that capacity ever since.
Now, and for those who don't know, that was mainly because the new Walhalla High School is not in the city limits, but the old high school was, right?
Correct. Old high school was in the city limits of Walhalla, so I maintained that until the new school was completed in 2015, I believe is when we moved into that school, August of 2015.
10 years already?
It's been 10 years in the 11th year in the new school.
You know, I remember when they were building that thing, I was on the road patrol on night shift, and one of the coolest things when they were building the new Walhalla High School was we'd ride around on night shift because we had to protect it, you know, keep an eye on stuff because people were stealing stuff and supplies. And I remember walking through that place just looking around going, this place is enormous. It's giant.
It is a huge school. It is no doubt about it. We're averaging 1,150 to 1,200 kids a year.
1,200 kids in one school.
Yep, and one me.
And one, just one you, because you're the only one there, right?
Right. I'm the only one there.
Wow.
So it's been, and I did spend some time at Fair Oak Elementary, 3 or 4 months, can't remember, right after we returned from COVID during that time, and then went back to Walhalla High School. So
good deal.
But all my time, basically, the 20 years has been at Walhalla High School. And I was also a student at Walhalla High School. I grew up in Walhalla.
So you went to school at Walhalla. You left, you went to work for a factory, and then you came back as a school resource officer.
In my 30s, yep.
So now I got to ask, as a student, were you one of those wild ones?
I was not the best student in the world. I didn't get in trouble, but I was not a great student. So academically, things was different for me. So,
but now, do you feel like that has actually helped you as an SRO?
I do. I believe I can. My ability to communicate with every type of kid, I believe, has come to me pretty easily because I talk to any of them. Any of them that's willing to talk with me. We talk in the halls. We talk high fives, bump, fist bump. Even those kids that are a lot like I was. You know, it's easy for me to communicate with them, and I enjoy it. I've enjoyed my time doing this. I've enjoyed being able to help kids that are willing to let me. A lot of them still do not, but I try. So it's just the getting in there and doing it.
So now that kind of leads me into one of the big things we want to talk about is let's kind of kick this off with, so what exactly does an SRO do? So like I picture, you know, I think back to when I was in high school. I went to Sumter High, and we had 2 officers in the school back then, so this was in the 90s. Mm-hmm. But they weren't like SROs that we know now. That they just kind of walked around and, you know, that was about it. So
kind of there.
Yeah. So what does the modern SRO do? Do you just kind of walk around? Do you have to break up fights? What can you kind of walk us through, like what a typical average day for an SRO is?
You know, my days vary, and that's just the nature of the beast as far as being an SRO in a school around a lot of kids, but even since I started doing this, it has evolved into a lot of different things. Yes, we teach classes. I taught internet safety classes for a long time. Teach Drive Smart classes. I get with teachers, whatever, who will let me come in, have conversations with kids about internet safety, things of that nature.
You said Drive Smart. What's Drive Smart?
Drive Smart is our introductory so that kids can get a parking pass to park on campus. It's basically,
so you got to take a class to be able to drive to school?
Well, it's for parking, really. It's to get lessons in how school discipline applies to you when you're on school campus.
Okay.
Driving too fast on campus, where reckless driving falls in place. We want you to be safe on school. Operate your vehicle in a safe manner.
So this is not like driver's ed.
No.
This is just a kind of like a policy procedure, safe.
It is. So you understand that there is rules to your driving ability, and as driving on campus and parking on campus is not a right. It's a privilege. So
right.
If you're not keeping your grades up, you're getting suspended. All kind of different things can cause you to lose that right to park on campus.
Gotcha.
Not to lose your license, but just not park on campus.
Yeah,
we want you to operate your vehicle safely on campus, because we got kids walking everywhere, especially at a high school.
And especially with that many.
Yeah, that many. So we got a lot of drivers. But as far as a typical day goes, I can't pinpoint a typical day, be honest with you, but
I guess that's true for all of law enforcement, isn't it?
No, that is true. That is true. Mine's a little different than the road guys, because we are assigned to a school, and we stay in those schools. And biggest thing I try to do is be available. I'm in the hallways during class change. I'm in the cafeteria during lunches. I'm available if a kid needs to talk to me. But biggest thing we want to do is we'll keep up with. You try to keep up with students that's having some issues or whatnot, and try to help them. You try to watch the doors, watch for any safety concerns through the day. Make sure doors are staying shut the way they should be, not propped open and used for any other thing. Just keeping an eye and being vigilant on what you're seeing and what the day is holding. We have policy and procedures and ways that the school wants things handled as far as their side of things. Enter the front for guests. Sign in, get a visitor's badge. You want to make sure everybody's doing the things they're supposed to do.
Right.
There again, I'm not there hammered down like a warden. Been accused of that, but
Yeah, this isn't prison. Right?
No,
I'm
there to help your children have a day they can get educated without any interference. But and you can't control everything. There's no perfect world, no perfect society. I have to thank my Lord Jesus Christ every day for giving me the ability to be able to still be able to do things and watch and keep an eye and help take care of our kids. And that's what it's all about, is at the end of the day, did we do everything we could do to make sure that building is secure? And you want to make sure you do that. That's just what we should do. My typical day is a lot like that, but my day can change in a drop of a hat. I can have to deal with this, deal with that. We wear multiple hats. I've counseled kids. I've talked to kids. I'm not a guidance counselor, but I can talk to kids and help them through issues. And I have a lot of them that will only talk to me, and I'm okay with that. And
really?
I tell them, that they get upset, whatever. They may not want to talk to the administrator, but I've left it with all my administrators, guidance counselors, and all of it. Hey, if you got a kid who wants to talk to me, send them to me. I'm fine with that. We'll sit down and we'll talk, and I'll get them to a place that you can come in and talk to them.
So you've got kids that will talk to you about issues going on, whether it's at home or at school or whatnot, but they don't want to talk to a guidance counselor.
Sometimes they won't, right?
Really?
Then I kind of help them in the area of that. Hey, they're here to help you.
Right.
They can help you in ways that I can't, but I'm here for you and got an ear for you. So if you want to talk, we will. And I'll help them guide and lead them right to where they need to go. It's like I tell them, I say, look, I can listen to you and talk to you, and I'll be more than happy to do so. But at the end of the day, there's some things that I can't do as law enforcement. I say, when it comes to your education, things like that, we want to leave that with our administrators and our guidance. So that is for them to do. But I'm here if you need me, and I'll guide you to where you need to go.
And I guess that's one of the big things about why they're called school resource officers. So,
Yes.
So you're more of a resource for the kids than a security guard or a safety guardian. You do that too.
Yeah.
But your job does so much more than that.
Yeah, it's jam packed with things that we do, and there again, I couldn't sit here and tell you in 1 hour the things that we've done. And I think all the guys out there, all the SROs, they're in the elementaries and middles and all the high schools. And I appreciate all my SROs, the things that they put in, because I know they're doing the work too.
Yeah.
It's just getting out there, working these events, doing our best to take care of those. There's just so many things that we are asked to do, and it's up to us. And the way I look at things is, for my own self, is that self-motivation, self-care, self-morals, self-awareness to, am I going to do the best job that I can do today?
Yeah.
So you do that. You have to go in every day and say, I'm here. I'm going to do the best that I can do to take care of these kids. And ultimately, that's what it comes. We got over 10,000 students in Oconee County.
And you got almost a tenth of them in just your school.
I've got about 1150 at Walhalla High School this year. So and it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed my career doing it. Still clicking along right now. But nobody gets younger. So,
none of us do.
But I am pleased with the job that I've had, and I'm thanking the sheriff and the Walhalla City and all for the time that I've had. So it's a lot. So just telling you everything that we do. But teaching classes, to get back to that a little bit, we've changed a little bit of things we do. They do a lead now, so we'd have the lead program. We used to have DARE.
So what's it?
So lead it's law enforcement against drugs. I think I got it correctly.
Okay.
So we moved from DARE to lead.
Okay. So the old DARE program.
The old DARE program is now we're moving into lead. So
okay.
we're initiating that now, waiting on our materials, and we'll get that started in our elementaries and some middles. So
now, is that going to be, across all grades, or is it just one? Like, how does?
Right now, we're looking at elementaries and middle.
Okay.
So when you get up to high school, we have some things that we do, and I go in as I'm requested. If teachers request, hey, can you come in and talk to the class?
Sure.
Sometimes it may be that topic along the lead stuff, or internet safety, social media safety.
Right.
Basically, it's just talking, hey, be careful what you do, because it never really goes away if you're putting stuff on social media. But that is a discussion for a longer discussion.
Yeah, that's definitely a discussion for another time.
But yeah, it's right now, like I say, it's for middle and elementaries. I talk about basically any topic that, if I go into a class at the high school level, I kind of see what the teachers kind of been working on with the kids, and I try to lean it toward what they've been working on. So it could be anything, and I couldn't give you one specific, because it
Sure.
could be the Fourth Amendment. I
Right.
mean, it could be the Fifth Amendment. I mean, anything that they're working on, I kind of take it and I kind of say, well, this is what you've been working on, so I'll kind of lead along those lines.
That makes sense.
So
That makes sense.
it's just hard to pinpoint exactly what we do, because there's not a laid out education or class plan that we do. It's a kind of as you come, you take care of it.
Right.
So,
Right. And now the LEADS program. So if I remember correctly, we just did a test run or a pilot run of that last year. With one SRO that went to it, which I think was Corporal McCall up there at Walhalla Middle, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
Yeah,
Deputy McCall went last year to a class and kind of got it kicked off.
Yeah. So basically we're going to totally phase out the old DARE
Yes,
program.
we're phasing DARE out, and I think they may be currently teaching the last DARE class in one of the elementaries. I don't remember exactly which one.
Oh,
but
yes.
we're finishing up. We're finishing up the program we had, and then we're going to move into lead. So it'll be lead from this point forward.
I want to talk just for a second about some safety things. You kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but I know I've got two kids. One's at one of the middle schools, and I got one in elementary school. So, obviously, I want to, what is being done to keep my kids safe, and I know that. I remember when the Columbine shooting happened, and it was one of the worst days in American education, because it was just unfathomable at that time. You couldn't even imagine that
someone could do something like that.
Yeah, and especially not just one but two of them that were a part of that school. And we've seen trends over the years where violence in schools has increased. So obviously I as a parent have a lot of concerns, but some of the things that are kind of going on in our school district, I know we've had some changes and we've had some new equipment and stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about what our SROs along with the school district is doing to help keep our kids safe in school?
Yeah, there's a lot. We started out, our basic code red drills, which is an active attack type. I think was what we're calling them now. Active attack,
right.
active shooters. Anytime an active attack, it ain't always just a shooter.
Right.
But any type of active attack, we started those code red drills, and I'm just going to have to kind of go the path here of where we came from and where we're at.
Sure. Oh no, that's great.
We started out, like I said, I wasn't as involved when I was with the city as far as a lot of their code red drills. I think I helped a few times, but Lieutenant Lyles and Miss Hughes and a lot of them, we put that program into place, the code red drills, and we would have a practice drill with every school. So we'd come in and you would talk the faculty, staff, students. We would talk them through the procedure of what we wanted them to do during a code red if it was called, which is out of sight, get anywhere you can out of sight, doors closed and locked.
Right.
Don't go in the hallway if a code red's called. You go in, make sure your door's closed, make sure. Of course, most schools now, our procedure is your door during teaching environments. You got students in your classroom, your door is closed and locked while you're teaching. That way, it's already done.
Yeah, that's one less thing they got to do.
It's one less thing they have to do. So we would go around and once a year at each school, we would, Lieutenant Lyles would recruit someone, and we would send someone into the school and see how quickly it would take for faculty, staff, or anybody to catch that intruder and then call a code red. And that would put the school into lockdown. But now, to move into where we're at now, it was a little easier because it was radio transmitted. Everything was, radio transmitted. We went into what we have now is the SSgt program, which is internet activated type situation.
Okay.
So what it does, I have an app on my phone. Most of your road deputies have an app on their phone that connects to this, and the school district stepped up and got this at the end of last school year, and started implementing it all through the schools. So we have, I'm not going to get into the exact details of how it operates or why it does, but when it is activated, now every classroom knows. You have red lights in the hallways, you have an activation alert in the classroom, and it's
instantaneous.
It's fast.
It's fast.
Yeah, so now, by the time that code red activation through SSgt now is activated, I get it almost immediately, even if I'm in the school building, since I'm able to stay connected to the school Wi-Fi. But I get it instantaneously, and I know exactly where to go because it tells me exactly what room number it's next to. It tells me what room it's in. It tells me if it's in a hallway. So we have a lot of good things with this, and I think it's good. I think it helps a lot. And there again, it gets to the road deputies too. So
yeah, because I think every certified deputy at the sheriff's office, I think I think it's a little bit different than yours as an SRO, I think.
Yeah,
but
maybe you'll get the code red stuff.
We still get the notification. We get the the map and all of that stuff as well.
We have a minimal alert and a code red alert, so we have two alerts with this new system. So I'll get the in-house stuff, like each SRO in the county.
Right.
They'll get the minimal alert if it's something that's just inside the building and not an active attack. So
yeah, and I noticed, when we did some testing and some other stuff, and I think we've had a couple of accidentals, growing
we've had a
pains
couple,
with new stuff,
but it also
right?
showed us how fast it really is, which is unfortunate accidental activations, but it also gave us some insight about how quick this thing works, and it was actually a learning experience, a good one. So,
well, and I think that also goes back to what we were kind of talking about earlier about that presence, always wanting to be there in case something happens. Now you've got a better system for notification that gets not just you as an SRO, but it also gets the other deputies that are working, other law enforcement. It gives them that rapid notification, so you get a quicker response time overall, and that's huge.
That's huge, because now you ain't having to wait for me to radio something in that I may not be able to get out with on my handheld for the sheriff's office, because somewhere in my building sometimes I don't get good signal, so I don't get out good. So this takes away a lot of those. Maybe I can get through. It's going to go through.
It's going to go through every time. And then I know we also had talked about the school district got the weapons detection system.
We have got the weapons detection system now. The as everybody used to call them, metal detectors, but they're weapons detections.
So they're not like the old-fashioned metal detectors.
They're on wheels. We can roll them around to different locations. So
okay.
they got to be X amount of far apart. But basically, right now we have, I think, 9, and the district decides which school they're going to be at and when. So and then they come through them. I'd have to go into a lot of detail as far as how it works, but they'll be teaching the kids how to properly walk through them so that it's a quick process. The first time at any school is going to be a little longer.
Sure.
But it picks up, as you said, it's a weapons detection process, so make sure that we can hopefully catch if anything comes through that, tries to come through the building. And we also have the, we talked about the SSgt, and we also have the IdenTKid, which has been there for several years now. You scan your license when you come in.
Yep.
And that tells that that also comes to my phone, and if it pops up that someone's close to some type of record, I won't go into details about.
Right. But if there's a red flag, or
then,
something like that,
then I can go up and address whatever that is. And usually it's just an arrangement of where they're going to meet. Because there's a lot of law you can go into about the ability of a parent being able to come to their child. So, because they can still come to the school and help with their child's education. So, we just have to make sure we're putting them in the right place. So,
now what about outside the school? So, do the SROs go on field trips or football games or like anything like that? Do y'all travel with the school, or?
It depends of the need. If there's this, we'll just take football. In the years past, we've had some social media issues between football players, different teams when they're fixing to play. Anything coming across social media that might be a concern for the game itself, if it's away, I have been asked to travel, and we can do so because we go back to the academy for 2 weeks to become SROs, and that gives us that statewide jurisdiction as long as our school is at that event.
Oh, okay, so your jurisdiction basically goes with the school.
It goes with the school.
Oh, that's nice.
Again, I went to the academy. I went back to the SRO school back 20-something years ago. So that's been a while. It's changed a little bit, but those things I still do know. So that gives us that ability to travel. Because I actually went to Florence with the high school last year during the basketball championship game. So
because they were state champions.
They won state basketball. The girls did. But yes, we can travel with a team to answer that question. Anywhere they go, our school, and we kind of leave it. This is where having a good relationship with your administration comes in, and making sure you're communicating with them. They can ask to, just like Friday, we had a lot of students went to the Heritage Fair. So if you've got a ton of kids going to that Heritage Fair, then they may ask. Usually we don't leave our building if there's students there. I don't like that. So, but if we have a large number of kids going, then yes, they may ask us to go, and that's fine too. So yes, we do some things, and we can and have the ability to do so.
Gotcha. I kind of want to shift a little bit into a couple things that I know when I was a road deputy that I dealt with a lot, that a lot of times I'd reach out to SROs. I know I've called you several times when I was a road deputy, and I kind of want to transition just a little bit over to helping our listeners and our viewers kind of understand a few things. So one of the things that came up a lot is I can't tell you how many times I got this call. My kid had an issue on the bus on the way home, and just as an example, like a bullying thing. All right, this is just hypothetical, but I heard this call so many times. So if my child has an issue on the bus, say on the way home or whatnot with a bully, what should I as a parent do about that? Like what can be done?
If there is an active situation, say a fight, whatever, on the bus that's taking place, then yes, they call 911. Usually a road deputy gets there before one of us because we're still at the school usually.
Right.
And that can be handled through discipline as far as administrators go. Go to the bullying thing, and it's going to take place. One, you still want them to report. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure of this. I just didn't check on it this year, but if students go onto the school's website or school wherever they go and get their information on their Chromebooks at their school, there is a place they can go it's a bullying form. That the students can go on there and fill it out, and it goes to administrators and guidance counselors.
Now is this school district wide, like elementary all the way up through?
They have it all, and it should be at every school. If it's elementary, don't know that they have Chromebooks, but there's still a way that they can report. Parents can report. They can go on that and fill out that bullying form that's on there. Now, then usually administrators will get involved with that and they'll talk to them about it. If it looks like it's a criminal issue, as far as maybe an assault or something like that, they'll call us in, we'll review it, and we'll take it on as an investigation and then do whatever's necessary from that point.
So now, like with the bullying issues on the bus, as an SRO and with the school district, do y'all tend to do a lot of those investigations that are maybe say happen off school property on the bus, like on the bus routes home, or kind of how does that work?
Let me explain school district property and what's considered school district property. So if you're waiting for your bus at your bus stop where you're required to be by the school to be picked up, that's school district property.
Well, you can be so the side of the road.
So if you're standing at your pickup, that can be considered school district. They can handle that if you're having an issue with a kid at your bus stop.
Okay.
And on that bus, I mean, if they're on the bus, waiting for the bus, and if they have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right, that is considered, it's still the same.
It's the same.
The bus ride home, same as being at school.
Okay.
Your immediate bus area that you get off is considered school district, so they can discipline it.
And see, I think that's important too for parents to know as well, because a lot of times we think, well, the bus stop, say at the end of my road or at the a couple houses down from where we live, to know that school district property is long or under the school's jurisdiction,
under the school's
jurisdiction,
say. Yes.
Is important too, because that can affect a lot of things as well.
Yes, they can still. There again, I'm not an administrator or teacher. I do know a lot of things about that stuff, but as far as discipline on that goes, that is a school district issue, and administrators would handle that unless it becomes a criminal issue.
Right.
So then but yes, they consider being able to discipline those. They can discipline and handle and deal with things from a school perspective at that designated bus stop area that they're being picked up by their bus. So.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, and that's helpful to know. Like I didn't even know about the bullying form available through the school district. So, as a parent, to me, that's very, very helpful, because
it should be there, and they can go on there online and find that. And if they have an issue, if your child's having an issue with another student, the child at my level at the high schools, they can usually fill it out on their own.
Right.
But a parent, I think, can go in with them and do it as well. I'd have to actually be looking at it to tell you the exacts on it, but it should still be there.
Well, good deal. I'm glad the school district is taking that proactive approach by making this accessible, because, like I said, I can't tell you how many times I've dealt with that on the road of, my child's being harassed, my child's being bullied, this kid on the bus, or, there's this group in the hallway when they're changing class. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. And the other thing that I noticed when I was on the road, and kind of help us out here, it seemed like we always got those reports late in the evenings, like after 9 or 10 o'clock. It was never like right after
as it
school.
was happening, right?
Or as it was happening. So, with that, let's go back to I'm a parent for just a moment, and let's say my kid comes home, from school is having an issue, but now it's, I don't learn about it till dinner time at 9 or 9:30 that evening, because maybe we went out and did something afterwards. So now we're having a late dinner and say, oh, by the way, Dad, there's this kid that's bullying me every time we change classes. So now, with it being that late at night, what should I do as a parent? Should I be calling the sheriff's office and making that report with the road patrol, or is it better for me as a parent to call the school the next morning and say, hey, my kid told me last night was having a problem? What's the best practice for parents with that?
There's probably two-step here, or twofold, however you want to say it. If it's a possible criminal issue like an assault, I would much prefer them go ahead and call the sheriff's office. They can at least document it, even if no charges are made or whatever at that time. Right. Usually I get it pretty quick the next morning or that same night, and I can come in and talk to that child first thing. Okay. If it's that late at night and you think it's going to be a parent choice, but you can go on and email. Most of the administrators you can email, and they'll get it, and we can work on it the next morning. So don't be afraid to email the school. Somebody at the school say, hey, my kid had an issue. Let me know. They told me today that, hey, they was having an issue yesterday. Try to get specifics if they can for a parent. Hey, was it on the hallway? Was it in the classroom? Where you kind of give us an idea, because we can pull the cameras and see, possibilities of where it took place. But if they think it's serious enough, then most definitely always. I don't want to never discourage from calling the sheriff's office, because usually the guys are good about letting me know. So if they go out and deal with something with a kid, they usually let me know, which is good. And I'm always keep my phone on, and if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, it's one of our students, call me. I want to know.
Well, and that's one thing I got to say about all our SROs. From my time on the road, when I would interact with a student, if I needed something in the middle of the night, maybe say we needed to get a little bit of history or what kind of
who they hang around
what
with,
this background is, especially a missing or a runaway child. I know I called you several times and some of the other SROs to say, little Johnny, has run away. Where can we find him?
Yep.
That's one thing I got to say about our SROs is every time I've called them, unless it was something just extraordinary, they've always answered and they have always gone above and beyond to help us out.
Yeah, man. And that's what hey, and at the end of the day, and I say this, we work for the sheriff, all of us. This is a sheriff's department. We all have our units that we work for.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's about the public safety of Oconee County, South Carolina.
Well, and it goes back to kind of what one of the last thing I kind of wanted to cover is, with that being said, that leads perfectly into this. Our motto, our vision statement is forging relationships to promote a safer Oconee.
Right.
And that teamwork, that partnership, between community services and SROs, the road patrols, the criminal investigations unit, even the narcotics unit, and whatnot, that partnership with our school resource officers is invaluable. And I also have noticed too that you guys have a unique relationship that goes even further than just the kids, because you guys develop a lot of relationships with their families too,
right.
don't you?
That is correct. I mean, they especially when I first come in, which seems ancient times now, but I came in and when I did come in the beginning, I came in with a lot of those parents I went to school with. So that helped me a lot, kind of as I was becoming an SRO and a new SRO, and finding my way as to how I'm going to be an SRO. And not everybody's always agreed with the way I've done things. That's fine. We make decisions that a lot of people don't like.
Oh yeah, well, we all have opinions.
At the end of the day, I can assure everybody that none of my decisions are ever made with nothing less than helping the child or even our other children. It's all based on that totality of what we're doing, and that's to try to take care of our schools.
And that's first and foremost, obviously.
It is. That's our first and foremost. And then, of course, we handle laws as needs, crimes, whatever that takes place, we'll deal with them as they come. But as I said, the first and foremost is trying to make schools as safe as we can possibly make them, so that your child has a good day at school and can get an education. That's what it's about.
And overall, I think Oconee County has probably some of the safest schools in the state.
Yeah.
Or at least it feels that way to me.
It feels that way to me as well, because the SROs it's become a big thing now, and they're all getting there. Especially it was signed into law, I believe it was, by McMaster's.
Yeah, it was signed just a couple years ago.
We want SROs in every school. So, and that's what they've been working on. So.
And one of the things I think is neat to point out, too, for those who may not know, is Oconee County was one of I can't remember if it was the first or just one of the first, but we were one of the first counties in the entire state that actually had an SRO in every public school in the county, long before it was even ever part of law.
Right, because when I first started, it was just me in a middle school. That was it. There's two of us covering all these events. It was just two of us. But yeah, we were one of the first. I want to say, like you, that we were the first to cover all of our schools. Now the private schools don't have them, but we're there for them too if they need us. And we've reached out. They have reached out to them as well. So if they need us, we're there.
So as a little sidebar, that brings up a good point. I'm glad you mentioned private schools. So we don't cover private schools, but now do you guys work with them as needed, or if they have an issue, do they call y'all, or how do the private schools work?
They reach out to us I can't remember exactly how, to be honest with you, trying to maintain and remember everything. But they do reach out if they need something, so we'll go like Oconee Christian Academy. We actually have an SRO now that used to go to Oconee Christian Academy, so he does good by.
Okay.
He'll swing by from time to time, which is good, and I've told him. So, yes, we try to keep a partnership with them so that they feel free to call us. So if they need us, they do reach out.
Okay, and that's good to know too, because I know we probably got some parents out there. We might have some listeners that are either have kids in some of the private schools or are thinking about it. So to know that partnership is still there, even though they may not have a dedicated SRO, at least knowing that there is still that partnership is huge.
I do know that we've talked about them before, and so that they know to reach out to us.
Good.
Which is good.
Good. As we kind of wrap up, Keith, and first off, thank you so much for all of this wonderful information. This has been great. Usually, every guest that I've interviewed, I always like to ask this question. And those who've listened to our podcast before kind of know where I'm going with this, but I kind of want to change this just a little bit for you and your unique job. So I'm going to break this up into two parts, very similar. So the last two questions I have for you. What is the best piece of advice that you have from your viewpoint as an SRO for parents to help their children become successful?
And I know sometimes this don't come across great with some, but my thing is learning, having a good moral sense about yourself, number one. And everybody knows where my morals are. It lies with my Lord and Savior. So I got to throw that in there because I want the morality that we have is important. Following the rules that's laid out. We're not locking you down, but there's rules. Learning how to follow everyday rules that's put out for the school, and it's not to try to limit your child, it's to protect your child and helping us understand it. And I'm talking from a sense of being at school.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
A student. The school has those rules laid out. Let's follow those. Let's do the right thing. Let's don't go outside of our norm. Help us, help you, I guess is probably where I'm at with that, because there's so many students and only a few of us.
Right.
So help us and learn from those things. But we want you to be able to come to school, feel safe, get your education, and staying on track with those rules and even your parents' rules, how they got laid out a life for you. This is what we allow you to do. This is what you can do. If you do this, there's consequences. So learning to follow those and live your life to its fullest, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved with school. School can be boring. I know. I didn't like school when I was in school. I didn't like it. I finally got through it, but I didn't like it. And I tell this to a lot of kids that don't like school. I'm like, look, even my grandson, I tell him all the time, look, while you're in school, find something that you like to do and be a part of it for the school. I know that kind of sounds off topic of what you asked me, but at the end of the day, those things that you learn how to get along with other people, learn how to communicate, you're doing stuff, you're staying busy, it's helping you grow inside as a person. And then when you do become an adult and get out, it's like, oh yeah, I remember these things. It helps you in your mind to become more than just a student. You're a student athlete, you're in chorus, you're in band, there's so many things that they offer in high school that you can do.
And it
helps you grow, I guess is where I'm trying to go.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to just sound off topic because all the years I've watched kids and I've helped kids that's been on a track like that to get into the military and become something, have a family, move and do things. But I can't do it on my own.
Right.
They got to be and listening to your parents and being involved is very important, especially at school. That's where you learn to be a part of things. So, and then as far as advice like that, it's probably the best I can give as far as being in a school every day.
And that actually kind of answers my second question too. And you did a phenomenal job explaining it, like what's the best piece of advice you have for the students. But, you kind of hit both of them all at once. So, great minds think alike, so that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Keith, thank you so much for joining us today on the Deputy Podcast. I really enjoyed this, talking with you, and it's been, educational for me. And as somebody who's been in law enforcement for 20 years myself, coming up on 20 years, I learned things from you just now that I had no idea, and I've got kids in school, so I really appreciate you coming and talking with us. I hope that our viewers find this as informational and helpful as well. So, Keith, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep, glad to be here. Thank you for having me, and I hope that I was able to explain it, and it ain't too far out there. There again, I'm available for questions. If anybody needs to ever call me at the school, I'm there.
Good deal.
All right.
Good deal. Thank you so much. Well, that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Deputy Podcast, the official podcast of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office SC, with our special guest, Staff Sergeant Keith Brooks from the Oconee County Sheriff's Office School Resource Unit. As always, just want to remind you that we are available on YouTube with the video version of this podcast. We definitely want you to like, share, and subscribe. So spread the message about this episode, but also others. And if you hit like and subscribe, then you'll be notified of new content as we release it. Also, we're available on all the podcast streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio. So you can listen to us anytime. That is audio-only version, but you can listen to us and stay tuned for more episodes as they become available. That'll wrap it up for this edition. Thank you for joining us. This is Deputy Podcast, the official podcast of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office SC.